Hey guys, it's Julie from Plan to Create, and today I am sharing the planner that I'll be using for 2026. It is the Hemlock and Oak B5. I believe it's a minimalist, and it's a little bit longer than I'm used to using, but otherwise I've basically been using this vertical hourly format for the last many years, whether that was in my Hobonichi cousin, my Aura Estelle, my half letter discs. It's a very familiar layout. So you're going to see me kind of dive right in. I am going to set up my January monthly view as well as my first week for the month of January. And I don't really go much farther than that because I like to give myself a little bit of wiggle room if I want to shift things around. But you'll see some familiar things that I've used before, so it's not like a huge difference here. But I am excited, and I really have the goal of keeping this bound all year. You guys know I rip books apart almost every year, but I feel like my planner this year is not going to be a house for creativity. I'm going to sprinkle stickers on there because who are we kidding? But I'm letting my creative journal kind of soak up all that extra creative activity, and those are pages that I must have like lay flat on a desk. Like that's crucial to me. But I feel like I can work in a planner that's bound, and I think I will really look forward to having this at the end of the year. I've enjoyed like Hobonichi cousins in the past where, you know, get to stick it on the shelf, pull it back out to reference. I do have a sticker coming to lay here on the cover. I'll show you here what I had last year. So I'm just waiting on that from an Etsy order. But otherwise, I've found a cover online, which I will link you below. The Hemlock and Oak Facebook group, someone shared theirs. So thank you to whoever shared yours. I purchased it at Jet Pens, and it fits nicely. It's a little bit tall there, but totally doable. And I just felt like this flex cover would probably be needing that for me. I'm not that precious with my things, so it needs to have a little layer of protection. And then I use tabs from Archer and Olive. I felt like this color worked really nicely with my cover, so they're kind of a graduating light to, I think they said gray, but they have a greenish tinge if you ask me. So that's what I really liked the scale of these, and the material was like a nice hefty vinyl, so I feel like they are going to hold up. And then they're also large because my planner is kind of big too, so it all fit. Anyway, I'll kind of dive right in and get my setup going here. You can see that I am referring back to the planner I used throughout December, which is the Hemlock and Oak inserts that I used in the HPC size. Not a big switch, and quite frankly I've been using a vertical hourly for the last, I don't know, 10 years, so it feels like this is just a new book but very familiar. I am going to be setting it up slightly differently just to accommodate like some new goals I may have this year, but ultimately I'm still just keeping a section at the top for a workout. I'm adding a spot there for some meal planning, or at least meal recording, like what the heck did we eat this week, and then I have a couple spots saved there for some social media posting to see if I'm doing what I say I want to do. I'm not entirely sure how I want to use the monthly overview and review pages, but you can see I whited out and then I washi taped over some of their prompts, and I'm going to use it however I want. So that's kind of the plan there. I wanted to show you guys a glimpse of that. And now let's go through and set up a little bit of January. I eye that corner up at the top and pull out my favorite little new elements. These are from the stationery kit from Cocoa Daisy, and what I love about these is that they are vellum stickers. They do die cut stickers in some of their other kits, but they're like a thicker white cardstock base, and that's fine, but I love the vellum like see-through stickers. Like that's just, I'm obsessed with that. So I immediately grab, and I'm very decisive. I feel like this one works really well there for my sidebar. And if you've followed me for a while, you know I don't love to like decorate fully my pages. I'm not going to have a lot of stuff throughout the page, but I feel like sidebars are fair game. So I know that I don't necessarily need to write a bunch of stuff there in that sidebar. So I'm going to fill that and just kind of soften up that whole corner here with a gorgeous sticker, and I love the way this looks. I have to like cut this at a certain angle. I'm so weird. I need to be on this side of the paper in order to cut. So watch me flip my entire book around there to accomplish that. Adding sprinkles with little tiny stamps is kind of one of my favorite little things. I have no rhyme or reason though. I kind of just like to sprinkle. I guess that's what they're supposed to look like, right? And I don't think there is a rhyme or reason. I think just spacing them out. I maybe place them like in triangles, but then like that one I didn't add a third. Like who knows? But they are cute, and I feel like suddenly that sticker isn't just stuck on the page all by itself. It's kind of has some friends. I'm showing you a glimpse at this little dish. I found it at Target. It's just cute, and it sits on my desk with some of my favorite stamps that I have pulled out of their sets. So some of them I have no idea where they came from, but they're ones that I just use all the time, so I like to have them within quick grasp. And then I have another little bowl that has holes along the bottom, and that's like my wash bowl. So when they start to lose their stickiness, then I'll move them over to my wash bowl. Oh yeah, I have another one too. This one's actually in my drawer. Same kind of story though, just sets that little stamps that I've pulled out that I like to use, and these ones are for social media. I believe that they're an older set from Waffle Flower Crafts. I'm going to include these just on my monthly view, so once a month I will just pay attention to where I started, maybe where I stopped, one or the other. And you're going to notice too, I have a Facebook group and then like a Facebook page, so I'm going to track those each. Not because I'm necessarily trying to grow, but I just think it's interesting to keep track of. And then I have Instagram and YouTube, so those will be things that I will just be able to see throughout the months to see kind of where I'm at. Sabrina, I think you asked me recently how I stay clean while stamping, and you're going to see here in a second. I don't. I have ink on my fingers. I use baby wipes to wipe off as much as I can, and then it won't transfer, make a huge mess, but I definitely make messes, and I definitely have inky fingers. You may have caught it in a previous video, but I went hard on the January kit from Cocoa Daisy. Like, I had the stationery, journaling, scrapbooking, and the creative kits, I think. I managed to track all of those down for the month. But you're going to see that I still want to mix and mingle in some other supplies. I think that looks fresh. Like, if you're using everything from the same kit, totally fine, totally safe. It obviously is meant to go together, so that's cool. But for me, it's really fun to find something from another artist or another, graphic designer that kind of can still work. So that's what you're going to see me doing here, is just pulling some little elements that I believe are from In a Creative Bubble, and they just kind of go in the same blues and hues. So I'm going to find ways to work those in, and to me, it just kind of helps keep it fresh. Like, it doesn't all look the same. Again, I'm pulling out these little vellum stickers, that owl there on the side, and he's so cute. I can't wait to use all of these, but obviously I have to pace myself. So I'm going to flip through a few little options here and just kind of finally decide that maybe floral is the route I want to go. And I'll fuss with this corner a little bit because fussing is what I do best. But obviously I'm ready to commit to this little cozy sticker. I think that's fun. And this month I'm just looking forward to, in January, primarily like the coziness, the quiet. We've had a little bit of chaos around here lately. My daughter and her husband and their 2 golden retrievers have stayed with us, and my daughter and her husband have kind of come and gone, house hunting, come and gone for Christmas. The dogs have been here, and they're awesome. They're super sweet, but like a 2-year-old puppy is just a little bit more energetic than we're used to having around here. So I'm not gonna lie, I've loved having them, and I know that I will miss them, but like come January, I'm just like, savoring the quiet. Yes, I'm totally ready for that. I used an Archer and Olive washi there, and you're going to see kind of all the washis I have lined up to work with this month. I have some from the Cocoa Daisy kits, I have some from Archer and Olive's quarterly sub box, and then I even have a little Coffee Monster Co. squeezed in there too, with kind of like the blues and browns hues. So I, again, love the thought of mixing up a few different brands, artists, and just kind of seeing how that all evolves. Okay, I fussed with this corner way longer than I should have, so I'm just kind of speeding us through that because it's boring for me to watch, so I can only imagine that it would be for you as well. I do manage to place all those items, and then I just wanted that section to kind of continue, so I just keep pulling through these little vellum stickers, and then I finally pull out this sheet from the stationery kit, and I'm just going to give you like a spoiler alert. Like, I don't love white stickers. In fact, Cocoa Daisy, if you ever happen to be watching one of my videos, would you do these little sheets in like the clear washi or vellum sticker or pet tape or I don't know, anything but white stickers? I don't know what my problem is, and I could be alone on that. But anyway, since I had those stickers out, I went ahead and saw that favorite days of the week. I thought, oh, those little labels were super cute. So I slap them down into my next week, and this is a good glimpse into how I work very sporadically here on my pages. Like, I've done half of that page and flipped to my month, and then I'm back, and I'm going to stay here for a minute, it looks like. So ultimately, like, this setup is my monthly page and then the first week. I don't really like to go too much farther because I like to give myself a little bit of time. And while I'm familiar with this style of page, I don't necessarily know what to do with that bottom section. So until I'm ready, I won't commit the future weeks. I kind of want to know, do I want it spaced out? Do I want it, wash it off like this? Like, I'm going to give myself some time to work in these pages, and then I will go ahead and commit to sectioning off the future weeks. So hope that makes sense. And maybe in the future when I do like a monthly setup video, I'll be able to do, 4 weeks at a time. That would be ideal. But I'm giving myself a little bit of grace as we're starting a new year in a slightly different system that I will just kind of play it by ear and see how it goes from week to week for this first month. Now, because I do have a creative journal where I am like full license to play with whatever stickers and washi and stamps that I want, I really told myself like my planner will remain functional and, non-frills. Well, who am I kidding? I have all these beautiful things to use. So when this sticker caught my eye, I was like, oh yeah, it's coming to my sidebar. And my sidebar on my weekly pages and on my monthlies, it's my space. It's the place. If I'm going to add any decoration, it's going to be there because I don't really do a lot of writing over on that side. I have a couple things that I will track at the bottom, which you'll see later. But this is my space to play. So I like to include something pretty. I like to include my week numbers. So obviously that is gorgeous. I like how it fills that space. I'm showing where I'll add a week number, but then I'm looking at that sticker sheet and I'm like, ooh, clear stickers and little things. Like I need to put that back over here on the monthly page, which I'm embarrassed. Like I hate that I did this because it's like so not important and it's such a like small little detail. And those are fine. Those stickers are fine. I'm sitting here talking to myself like they're fine. Don't do it. It's fine. But I'm not, who am I kidding? Like we're going to see in a second here that I'm ripping those things off and adding the clear sticker. And I don't know, I like me a clear sticker. I'm not sure it had the impact that I thought it certainly would, but with those shenanigans behind us, we can move back towards the sidebar on my weekly page, and I know that I want to add a week number. So I just dig through my little stash of blue items, and I find this half-used label, and I go ahead and stamp the week number on there, and it's so exciting. Week number 1, nothing like a nice fresh start. I'm using that Glacier ink from Catherine Pooler again, and I really like the way it turned out. I'm going to give it like a little wave here. I'm a little nervous. I'm not entirely sure how this ink dries on the clear sticker paper. That's something I would always advise, is just be a little bit safer than sorry. So I always try to give myself a few more seconds than I think I need because I am usually super impetuous, and every once in a while I smear it all over the place. Talk about those inky fingers again. But this one I do kind of give it a little shake here, give it a few seconds, and it goes on just fine and doesn't have any issue. I've talked about this in previous videos, but I do like to use the color dot markers to add little placeholders. So up there is my spot for my movement for the day, and I like to give myself a check mark when I've done it. So I give a little space holder for that check mark sticker, sometimes just a check, but I'm doing that for both my workout and my social media sections so that I can kind of keep track of what days I've done what I set out to do. Here I'm just giving you a peek at the different colors that I will be using, that I have used here on these pages. I'm going to work that sandcastle color in, that tan, and then I've also used that Madeline Alpha for the week number, which I'll probably repeat. I like to use the different sizes, the extra large and the regular, just intermittently. And here's a glimpse at the Sweet Caress design thin highlight strips. I use those here on my monthly pages just to track travel. I actually like to have as few words as possible here on my monthly view, so I use stickers and shapes to indicate kind of the different things that we're up to, and I just start to recognize those, so I don't have to write down the actual event. I can just use the shape. With that long, nice sidebar, I have plenty of space here to track my steps, to track my reading, and my incoming mail. Those are kind of the things that I've often found a home here on my sidebar. I didn't track my steps the end of last year, and I am going to again. It's kind of a love-hate. Like there's moments, of course, the days where it's like, oh, 12,000, yay. And then there's the days where it's like, oh my gosh, did I not move? I have 2,000 steps. Like I barely lived. I was barely alive. So I'm going to kind of come to terms with that and recognize that. So by tracking here, it just helps me be aware of it. It doesn't necessarily change my behavior per se, but maybe over time it kind of will when I have to continue to record like a 3,000 step day. That's not fun. So maybe I'll get a little bit more motion in. I love to walk. I love to be active. It's literally just like sometimes the morning times when I best do that. I'm also like trying to do other things. So just kind of have to juggle my time a little bit better is all. But you can see here I have incoming sticker and the steps stickers. Those are both from Scotia Paper Co. She matched those up so great, so they go with my reading stamp that I'm able to use, and I love how that kind of works out for my sidebar. Okay, at this point, I'm just kind of starting to spot little stickers, find homes for them. So I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to spend some time off screen really dialing in and walking through my days to see when I can schedule what and how I can make all the ideas that I have in my head actually come to execution throughout the month of January. Wish me luck. But I hope that you guys are having a blast diving into your new 2026 planners. If you happen to be using a Hemlock and Oak or the same one as me, comment below. Let me know how it's going or if there's anything you saw here that you want to implement in yours. And otherwise, guys, thanks so much for being here, and I will catch you at the next video. Take care.